stupid questions.
The year is 1994. Nelson Mandela is elected President of South Africa. The Channel is opened between England and France, and the first genetically modified tomatoes are created, and Adobe releases Photoshop 3. Not CS3, 3. What the heck am I talking about? Every single time Adobe updates Photoshop, we create new amazing features and functionality, many that you've probably been used to for quite a long time. Bevel, emboss, glows, drop shadow, all of those layer styles. And if you're a Final Cut Pro 7 user, and even 10, you'll understand that there are lots of workarounds and issues when working with Photoshop files. All of these wonderful layers and layer styles, things have to be rasterized, converted, and compromised. I want to show you that when you move to Premiere Pro CS6, anything that you do inside a Photoshop file works perfectly in Premiere Pro. In fact, if you're used to the way that Photoshop files work in After Effects, either in a merged or unmerged or flattened or layered, it's exactly the same way in Premiere Pro. It basically makes anything possible, and it puts a direct connection between Photoshop and Premiere Pro directly in the timeline. Let me show you how this works. Let's jump over here and look at Premiere Pro. And I'm going to bring in a Photoshop file that I have right here. So let's look at this. This is my wonderful gaudy looking graphic that I just created. And it has quite a few things going on in here. We can see that I have this shape, which is our palm trees, that actually have a stroke on them. If I turn the stroke off, you can see I have a white fill with a very, very large gradient colored stroke. The same with the title, big strokes on that. And then below that, if I turn this off and we look, we've got several different layers. You can see that I have a big bevel emboss on this sun shape right here. And then below that, I've got these radiating lines that have a layer mask set on them too. So quite a few things all going out at the same time. No problem. Let's jump into Premiere Pro, and I'll just choose File, Import, and we'll find my Photoshop file. There it is, my cloud graphic. Import that file, and here we have some options. The first one is Merge All Layers. This is the one you want to use if you want to retain the exact look and transparency of every single layer and object, but you want it to act like a single graphic. And that's really what I want to do here. But let's look at the other ones, merged layers. In this example, I could override the ones that are showing in Photoshop and just turn the ones on that I want in here and merge them. So again, it's like the first one. The last one is more of what you're used to in Final Cut, but we're going to retain all the layer effects. And we can bring it in as a sequence if we want. Again, I'm going to go back to Merge All Layers and click OK. It brings it in as a single graphic. I'll drop this on top, drag this out, and I'll hit play. And you can see there's our graphic, and everything plays back accordingly. All of our layer styles are showing up inside there, and all the transparency and everything working just fine. Well, let's jump over to Final Cut and find out what happens when we do the same thing. So I'm going to import a file, and we bring in the same thing. This is the graphic that we're bringing in, and it comes in as a sequence. And if we open this up, we can see, ooh, what the heck has gone wrong? Well, every single layer style, gone. Layer mask, gone. Strokes, gone, 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 gone. And now that we have this inside Final Cut, let's hit the play button. Oh yeah, that's right. Every single thing has to render before we can see it. It's another thing that I'm not used to when you're working with Premiere Pro. I didn't create this demo to point out the pain you already feel. I wanted to point out that if you think this is the way that all software works, you're missing a huge amount of functionality inside Premiere Pro. If you're working with Premiere Pro, I mean, look at that, or come back to my really gaudy graphic back here, everything is intact. And we can also just select this. If we don't have this open already, we can choose Edit Original, and it's going to launch us back into Photoshop, and we can make any changes here, turn that off, hit Save. It's going to tell us that we've got saves, no problem. We come back in here into Premiere Pro, wait a second, boom, and it updates. If you wanted the multiple layers as that you normally have, a lot of Final Cut users like that, where they'll bring in all the different layers of Photoshop and animate them, no problem. We have both worlds inside there. But I just want to make sure that you understand that you have amazing functionality in Photoshop that everyone knows and loves: layer masks, layer styles, different types of text controls. All of that is completely intact inside here. In fact, the new 3D objects that you create inside Photoshop will convert perfectly in here. They're not 3D anymore when they're in Premiere Pro, but you're not going to have to rasterize or flatten or do any of that. So let's understand that there's a lot of functionality that has changed since 1994, and it's time to take advantage of that. And you take advantage of that when you put Photoshop together with Premiere Pro CS6.